Hello and welcome to the second That Sports blog video blog. So we're going to get underway and we're going to start with football. We're going to start with the Champions League. Barcelona and Juventus have both dropped out. Barcelona were unable to overcome the 4-1 deficit from the first leg against Paris Saint-Germain. Despite drawing 1-1 on the night, they went out on aggregate. Meanwhile, Juventus came into their second leg losing 2-1 but fought back to win 3-2, but unfortunately went out on away goals. Dortmund survived a bit of a late Sevilla scare to win 5-4 on aggregate after drawing 2-2 on the night. Liverpool put Fabinho back into midfield, which seemed to help them out a little bit. They found a bit of form and they won 2-0 against Leipzig. They had two orthodox centre-halves with Fabinho back in midfield, which seems to have helped him out a little bit because he would have been in there to do that screening job. Into the Europa League, Arsenal were 3-1 winners away at Olympiacos, meaning that they will go into the second leg holding 3 away goals, which will be very, very important, although it's very hard to see Olympiacos having much of a threat given the first leg. Meanwhile, Rangers will travel to Ibrox for their second leg against Slavia Prague, holding a crucial 1-1 away goal. They fought back after a bit of a setback in the first 10 minutes, going 1-0 behind. But Philip Haalander's goal pulled them back level before the break, and a spectacular save from Alan McGregor kept them in it at the end. Man United conceded a very late equaliser against AC Milan, meaning they draw 1-1 with Milan having the away goal ahead of the second leg. Meanwhile, Tottenham won 2-0 at home to Dynamo Zagreb, with 2 goals being scored by Harry Kane. In domestic news, it appears that Chris Wilder is set to leave Sheffield United after almost 5 years. Sheffield United have really struggled this season. Significant injuries have played a really key part of that. Dean Henderson going back to Man United has been another issue that they've had. Obviously, they've had to replace him, and Aaron Ramsdale's come in off the back of a season where he got relegated with Bournemouth. He's probably not been as full of confidence as they would have liked. Though he has started in the last couple of weeks to show flashes of what he's capable of, which gives them good building blocks for next season. But they've really had some poor showings from the front, from the strikers. Brewster, £24 million signing, is yet to score. Ollie McBurney he's not been anywhere near his best. And he wasn't particularly brilliant last season. There's rumours of tensions behind the scenes between Wilder and the owner over investment, particularly with the lack of arrivals in January. It's not like he's not had the funds, but some of the players they bought in haven't really lived up to the expectations of the price tags that they've paid for them. There is a little bit of confusion about whether he has actually been sacked or whether he's leaving on his own accord or what's actually happening. Some people saying that he has gone. Someone's reported that he's still employed by the club, but the club have said that they will hold a press conference at 5 p.m. tonight. But as opposed to the announcement that was put out for the press conference that was supposed to happen at 1:30, which said it would be a manager's press conference, the word manager has been removed from this press conference, so expect all of that to be cleared up this evening. Moving into American football, and the franchise tag deadline has now passed. The franchise tag is for players whose contracts are expiring, and it's a way of keeping players around while you try to negotiate new contracts, or to keep them around for a year while you try and work out whether you want to keep them on. So some of the notable players that have received the franchise tag, Tampa Bay have given it to Chris Godwin, who is one of the key parts of their receiver core and their offense, and I would expect him to be given a new contract going forward. The Jets, who really struggled both offensively and defensively, have franchise tagged their safety Marcus May. Meanwhile, the Panthers have put the franchise tag on their offensive tackle Taylor Morton. The Chicago Bears have franchise tagged Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson was set to be one of the best wide receivers available if he was to hit free agency. They've put the tag on him to try and keep him around, and hopefully they will potentially be looking to try and either shore up that quarterback position to really help Robinson and try and persuade him that he wants to stay. With the current situation having Trubisky and Foles, there's speculation about the Bears possibly trading for Deshaun Watson and other things like that, so that's something to keep an eye on. The Jacksonville Jaguars have put the franchise tag onto offensive tackle Cam Robinson. The offensive line is always one of those very hard ones to fill, and there wasn't expected to be a lot of very good talent in free agency. There is a good chunk of talent coming in the draft, but with the Jags holding the number 1 pick and expected to draft Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, having a experienced tackle on his blind side maybe for a year, maybe the idea to keep while they develop somebody they draft in, or as they are looking at possible trades and deals for Andrew Norwell, who is a guard, whether the option is to slide Cam Robinson's inside to guard, where a lot of people think he may do very well. Washington have given the franchise tag to a lineman as well, in Brandon Sheriff. The Broncos have tagged Justin Simmons, while the Giants have tagged their D lineman Leonard Williams, and Marcus Williams of the New Orleans Saints has also received the tag. Dallas have also given it to Dak Prescott, but that's kind of like a stepping stone until his new contract comes in. He signed a record-setting 4-year, £160 million contract, which includes a no trade and no tag provision, meaning by the sounds of it and from what I've seen, that they in this contract there is no option for him to be traded. They cannot trade him, and if this contract expires, they cannot tag him. Which means that potentially at the end of this 4 years, he will either move on or sign another huge contract with the franchise. Kansas City have released 2 tackles, Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. Both of them are coming off injuries, and both of them will be joined by the Chiefs starting centre Austin Reiter, who hasn't been tagged and hasn't yet re-signed with the franchise, and some people are expecting him not to. Schwartz missed 10 games this year with a back injury, but is considered the best right tackle in the league when he is healthy. But a back injury for a lineman is not a particularly good injury to try and come back from, and for a lot of people it may see it as an injury that may be career-ending for some. He has had surgery and has suggested that he will return, but it's one to watch. He may retire. He may decide to retire, or he may sign with the new franchise. He may sign and carry on for another couple of years. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Meanwhile, Eric Fisher was the number 1 pick of the 2013 draft. He suffered an Achilles injury in the AFC Championship game, and he will hit free agency after spending his whole career with the Chiefs, and he started 113 games while he was with them. The Houston Texans, who are in a little bit of turmoil, they have signed Mark Ingrams, the former Ravens and Saints running back, very veteran running back, very good. On his day, in his prime, he has potential to really help their offense out. He signed a 1-year deal worth £3 million, and he'll join the team, but the team's is in a bit of a transition phase. They've lost JJ Watt, and there's the ongoing Deshaun Watson saga where he doesn't want to be there. Particularly after they've also lost Hopkins last year, which saw Duke Johnson come across, who will join Ingram in the running back. We would expect them to sort of alternate back and forth as they go. This week saw the beginning of the Players' Championship. That teed off on Thursday, but the holder Rory McIlroy has got off to a bit of a nightmare start. He ended 7 over in a round of golf that saw him hit a quadruple bogey 8 and a double bogey 6. Spain's Sergio Garcia finished in the league on 7 under, 2 clear of the American Brian Harman, but that's still got quite a ways to go. Rugby Union and the Six Nations returns this weekend, with Italy and Wales playing on Saturday, as well as England and France, and then the Scotland-Ireland game is on Sunday. Wales go into their game against Italy unbeaten. They've won 3 out of 3 and will face an Italy team who haven't won this year and haven't won games in the Six Nations for quite a while. But they have shown little moments this year, so could Italy upset Wales? Or will it be another walkover win for the Welsh? We'll have to wait and see. Last year's champions England will play the runners-up from last year, France. France are also unbeaten this year in the tournament, but sit behind Wales because they played a game less and some bonus points things. Because France had their game against Scotland suspended because of COVID restrictions. So the Italy-Wales game is at 2:15 on Saturday. England and France is at 4:45. Also on Saturday, and the Scotland-Ireland game is at 3 p.m. on Sunday. So if you want to watch other things, if you don't want to watch Six Nations rugby, you can watch other Rugby Union on Saturday. BT Sports have a couple of games on Extra. The Exeter Chiefs and Harlequins at 12:30, as well as the Newcastle Falcons and Bath Rugby is also at 12:30. Northampton Saints versus Sale Sharks is at 2:45, and Gloucester Rugby versus Leicester Tigers is at 3 p.m. on the Saturday. Saturday evening gives you possibly one of the very few reasonable timed NBA games that you could watch. That's a 7 p.m. tip-off with the New York Knicks at the Oklahoma City Thunder. On Sunday, you have the North London Derby at 4:30 with Arsenal taking on Tottenham. England play India in the 2020 cricket tournament at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, so they'll both play 20 overs cricket. Also on Tuesday, you have the second legs of the Man City Borussia Dortmund game. City go into that with a 2-0 lead. That's at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, you have the Real Madrid Atalanta game. Real Madrid go into that with a 1-0 lead. Both City and Real Madrid's goals are away goals. Meanwhile, Chelsea will host Atletico Madrid at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Chelsea have a 1-0 lead from the leg there, so they have the 1-0 away goal. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich will play Lazio at home at 7:30, and Bayern Munich have 4 away goals, and that from a 4-1 win in the first leg. Moving on to Thursday, and you have Europa League football. Rangers and Slavia Prague is at 8 o'clock. Both that's a 1-1 draw with Rangers holding the away goal. Man United will travel to AC Milan, that one with an 8 p.m. game, but AC Milan have the away goal in that one. Arsenal will host Olympiacos after their first leg, with Arsenal holding the 3-1 lead with 3 away goals. And Tottenham will travel to Dynamo Zagreb, and both the Arsenal and the Tottenham game are 5:55 kickoffs. If you fancy getting up early, if you fancy something a little bit different, then at 8:30 a.m. on Friday you can get up. If you've got BT Sports, get up and watch a bit of Aussie Rules football. That's Collingwood taking on the Western Bulldogs. Aussie Rules is a very weird sport. Playing an oval pitch, you can dribble the ball, kick the ball. It combines a number of different elements from some sports. It's very interesting to watch at times. So if you fancy something different, a little bit different, give Aussie Rules a shout, a watch. That's at 8:30 on Friday. So that's everything for this week. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week.